This is your startup. It's perhaps the most exciting journey of your life, but you're painfully aware that it lasts only as long as you have a financial runway for takeoff, because if you run out of cash, you will crash. Bootstrapping is a sort of DIY way of financing your startup. Maybe you don't have many investors to support you, maybe you want to keep your secrets undisclosed for as long as possible, or maybe you want to wait until you have proven that your idea works so that you can get a higher price before selling shares. However, most often the reason is simply that you want to maintain control over your business for as long as possible. The word bootstrapping originally meant to pull yourself out of the mud by the bootstraps, meaning doing something impossible entirely by yourself. In startup language, it means financing your investment without any sale of shares. Bootstrapping requires different types of money or fuel, such as your own money, money borrowed, money granted, money earned, crowdfunding. If you have savings, you can put your own money into your startup. You'll be in a good position to bootstrap it, but make sure you can afford to lose what you put in. There is a significant risk, statistically, that you may not succeed entirely in your first attempt. So, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Money borrowed is another form of bootstrapping fuel. Personal loans and personal credit card debts should be avoided, along with loans from friends and family. Many a good personal relationship has been ruined because of failed startups. Money granted is, of course, the best kind of startup fuel you will ever get. Many countries, sectors, and even private organizations offer grants to startups that fulfill certain criteria. Go for these grants by all means, but view them as gifts or lucky draw prizes. Money earned is the most important type of bootstrapping fuel. As a bootstrapped startup, you need to be pulling in some revenue quickly. Selling products may not be feasible in the development stage, but there are other ways to create early revenue. For example, you may work closely with early customers and charge consulting fees for helping them solve their problems. Just ensure that you don't commit to share intellectual property rights that restrict you from selling to future customers. Another way to make early revenue in your startup is to make pre-sales of future products, even before these products are ready to hit the market. This can be achieved by accepting pre-orders directly via your website or through other forms of advertising. Crowdfunding is a way to get early revenue in your startup. As the name indicates, crowdfunding is asking a crowd or many people to support your startup. A dollar saved is a dollar earned, so the saying goes. Perhaps the most obvious way to save money in your startup is to find a cheap location with low costs. Take advantage of free space in an incubator or work from a cheap co-working space. You may even work out of a public space like a cafe. Not every startup needs a fixed office. Another way to save money is to avoid investing in expensive office decoration, hardware, and cars. Borrow what you can. Buying should be an absolute last resort. We live in the age of sharing economies. People share tools, equipment, and car rides. Use open-source software or trial versions where possible. Startup co-founders generally take low or no salaries. Employees may also take low salaries in return for a catch-up bonus payable when the startup reaches a certain milestone. Use interns as much as you can. Often they do not need a salary and are eager to contribute. A way to minimize the need for capital is to avoid keeping too much on stock. Produce and deliver just in time. Another way to minimize the need for capital is to ask customers for prepayment while paying your suppliers late. At some point in your startup process, you'll probably find that you arrive at the crossroads, where you'll have to decide whether to move forward based on your own capital and sweat, or whether you should raise external capital.